In the quiet corners of history, where the echoes of remarkable individuals often fade away, there exists a name that deserves a resounding chorus. Samantha Smith, a name that once stirred a nation and captured the world's imagination. Her tale is not just a story, it's an odyssey of courage, a symphony of resilience, and a testament to the remarkable power that a single individual can wield in the face of adversity. Join us as we embark on a captivating journey through Samantha Smith's life, where the ordinary transcended into the extraordinary, where dreams turned into actions, and where a young girl's voice resonated far beyond her years. Hi, everyone. Before we get to today's story, I just wanted to acknowledge something that is happening in my home state. Happened last night, October 25th. There was a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine. Still unfolding. The suspect is still at large. It's just surreal and something that you would never expect to happen in this beautiful state. Maine people are salt of the earth people, and they're resilient and hardy, but boy, this has hit them hard. Just kind of highlights, just one more thing to highlight, that we are in days of good and evil, and you have got to choose your side. If you would like to make a decision and give your heart and life to Jesus Christ, and you need guidance for that, please email me at mindsetmatterspodcast1@gmail.com, and I would be more than happy to communicate with you, even if you just have questions or you need someone to reach out to. My heart goes out to the people that were affected, and we all need to pray and get our lives in order. Anyway, I'm sorry to start on that note. We're going to get to the story about Samantha Smith. So I hope you join me for that. Welcome to Mindset Matters, the podcast where we explore the extraordinary lives of ordinary individuals who have overcome immense challenges and emerged as beacons of inspiration. I'm your host, Lisa Sinclair, and today we embark on a remarkable journey into the life of one such individual. This is episode 10, The Courage to be Influential, the Hero Heart of Samantha Smith. Samantha Smith's remarkable journey began on a warm day on June 29, 1972, in the quiet town of Holton, Maine, nestled along the tranquil Canada-United States border. Her parents, Jane Gosshorn and Arthur Smith, welcomed this extraordinary soul into their lives. At just 5 years old, Samantha's heart overflowed with admiration for none other than Queen Elizabeth II herself. In an act that would foreshadow her exceptional spirit, she penned a heartfelt letter to the British monarch. By the time Samantha completed the second grade in the spring of 1980, her family had made a significant move to Manchester, Maine, where she became a student at Manchester Elementary School. Her father, previously an instructor at Ricker College in Holton, transitioned to teaching literature and writing at the University of Maine at Augusta, while her mother took on the noble role of a social worker with the Maine Department of Human Services. Little did they know that their daughter's innate kindness and curiosity would soon touch the hearts of people far beyond their small town's borders. As Samantha's story unfolds, it becomes evident that her early years were characterized by a nurturing family, a thirst for knowledge, and an unshakable belief in the power of communication and compassion. These qualities would soon propel her onto the world stage as she would undertake an extraordinary journey to the heart of the Cold War, transcending the boundaries of age to become a symbol of hope and diplomacy. Samantha had a bright, expressive face that radiated warmth and kindness. Her sparkling blue eyes were often described as windows to her soul, reflecting her genuine and compassionate nature. They seemed to light up when she smiled, which was a frequent occurrence. She had a crown of golden blonde hair that framed her face with a natural sun-kissed glow. Her hair was often pulled back in a ponytail or left to cascade gently over her shoulders, giving her a youthful and carefree look. Samantha's stature was petite, and she possessed a graceful frame. She moved with a certain lightness and grace, which added to her approachable and friendly demeanor. Her petite stature belied the immense courage and determination that resided within her. Samantha's style was modest and practical, reflecting her down-to-earth personality. She often wore casual clothing that allowed her to move freely, which suited her active and adventurous spirit. Overall, Samantha's physical appearance was a perfect reflection of her inner qualities, youthful, radiant, and full of kindness and grace. Samantha was coming of age during the time of the Cold War. Let's take a deeper dive into what the Cold War was about. The Cold War was a protracted and tension-filled geopolitical conflict that dominated the latter half of the 20th century. It began shortly after World War II, around the late 1940s, and continued until the early 1990s. Unlike traditional wars with direct military confrontations, the Cold War was characterized by a prolonged state of political, economic, and ideological rivalry between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, along with their respective allies and spheres of influence. At its core, the Cold War was a clash of contrasting ideologies and interests. The United States, a democratic capitalist nation, and the Soviet Union, a communist state, represented two diametrically opposed worldviews. The conflict stemmed from mutual distrust, differing political systems, and competing global ambitions. Each superpower sought to expand its influence and promote its ideology around the world, often through indirect means. The Cold War included these key elements. First of all, an arms race. The United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a relentless arms race, stockpiling nuclear weapons and developing advanced military technologies. This competition led to a constant state of fear, as both sides possessed the capability to destroy each other and the world many times over, which led to proxy wars. While direct confrontation was avoided, the Cold War was marked by numerous proxy wars in different parts of the world. Examples include the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and conflicts in Afghanistan and Central America, where the superpowers supported opposing factions. Another key element was espionage and intelligence. Both sides engaged in extensive espionage, in other words, spying, employing spies and intelligence agencies to gather information and engage in covert operations. The next key element is a space race. The competition extended to space exploration, with both nations vying for dominance in the space race. The launch of Sputnik by the Soviet Union in 1957 marked the beginning of this rivalry. Another key element was economic competition. The United States and the Soviet Union also competed economically, with the U.S. advocating for capitalism and free market principles, while the USSR promoted centralized planning and communism. Cultural and ideological propaganda was also an issue. Each side engaged in cultural diplomacy and propaganda efforts to win hearts and minds, often portraying the other as a threat to freedom and democracy. The Cold War had profound global implications. It divided the world into two opposing camps, with many countries aligning with either the United States or the Soviet Union. The threat of nuclear war cast a shadow over the entire planet, and the superpower's influence extended to nearly every corner of the globe. The Cold War eventually thawed in the late 1980s and early 1990s, marked by reforms in the Soviet Union and the eventual dissolution of the Eastern Bloc. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the dissolution of the USSR in 1991 marked the end of the Cold War, ushering in a new era in geopolitics. The decades-long standoff had profound and lasting effects on global politics, shaping alliances, conflicts, and international relations for years to come. In the brisk autumn of 1982, when Yuri Andropov ascended to the helm of the Soviet Union, Western newspapers and magazines splashed their front pages with a flurry of photographs and articles. The world held its collective breath as the spotlight shifted to this enigmatic leader. However, the prevailing narrative in mainstream Western media painted a grim picture, casting shadows of apprehension over the stability of the Western world. Andropov's past was a labyrinth of intrigue and controversy. His tenure as the Soviet ambassador to Hungary during the tumultuous 1956 Hungarian Revolution was etched in history books. It was a time when the Soviet Army's iron fist quashed the fervent aspirations of Hungarian citizens for freedom. The scars of that event still resonated in the collective memory of the West. Andropov's name was synonymous with authority and surveillance as he served as the chairman of the KGB from 1967 to 1982. During his reign, Western eyes had watched in horror as he ruthlessly crushed the Prague Spring, a moment of hope and reform in Czechoslovakia. The suppression of dissidents, luminaries like Andrei Sakharov and Alexander Solzhenitsyn had sent shockwaves throughout the world, raising questions about the boundaries of power and human rights. As Andropov assumed leadership, the world braced itself for what lay ahead. Uncertain of the path he would carve in the complex tapestry of Cold War politics, the stage was set, and the drama of global geopolitics was about to unveil another act in this ongoing saga of East versus West. As per Vasily Matroikin's insights, Yuri Andropov viewed the pursuit of human rights through a lens that extended beyond its surface. To him, it wasn't merely a noble quest, but rather part of a grander imperialist scheme, one that aimed to erode the very foundations of the Soviet state. This perspective added a layer of complexity to the already tense relationship between the Soviet Union and the United States. In this high-stakes arena of Cold War politics, a different kind of battle was being waged, one that transcended territorial boundaries. The focus shifted to the heavens above as both superpowers embarked on a race to develop weapons capable of launching from satellites orbiting the Earth. The stakes were astronomical, and the international community watched with bated breath. On one side of the divide, both the Soviet Union and the United States poured substantial resources into research and development, determined to push the boundaries of technology. However, as the projects advanced, a growing chorus of voices urged restraint. In the United States, President Ronald Reagan faced mounting pressure from a coalition of scientists and arms experts who questioned the wisdom of such endeavors. Their concerns echoed through the halls of power, challenging the path the nation was taking. Meanwhile, in the Soviet Union, the government responded to mounting international concerns with a resolute statement. It declared, quote, "To prevent the militarization of space is one of the most urgent tasks facing mankind," end quote. This proclamation not only highlighted the gravity of the situation, but also underscored the global resonance of the issue. As the superpowers grappled with the tantalizing prospects and ominous risks of space weaponry, the world held its breath, knowing that the decisions made on Earth had the potential to shape the future of humanity's endeavors among the stars. By this juncture in history, the once promising era of détente had crumbled beneath the two superpowers. Tensions had escalated, and the world was on the brink. The Soviet Union had introduced a formidable new weapon into the equation, the SS-20, prompting NATO to respond with the deployment of Cruise and Pershing II missiles in Europe. The landscape of geopolitics had shifted dramatically, and the Cold War was once again heating up. Simultaneously, a harrowing conflict, the Soviet-Afghan War, had entered its third year, casting a long and foreboding shadow over international relations. In the midst of this charged atmosphere, on November 22, 1982, Time magazine unveiled its latest issue, graced by the stern countenance of Yuri Andropov on the cover. The sight of this enigmatic figure, a symbol of Soviet power and intrigue, prompted a curious inquiry from a young girl in Maine named Samantha Smith. Innocence met the complexities of the world when Samantha turned to her mother with a question that resonated far beyond her years. She asked, quote, "If people are so afraid of him, why doesn't someone write a letter asking whether he wants to have a war or not?" End quote. It was a query that carried the weight of profound simplicity, a child's plea for understanding in a world teetering on the brink of conflict. Her mother, equally touched by the profundity of the moment, offered a simple yet powerful response. Quote, "Why don't you write one?" End quote. With those words, a remarkable journey was set in motion, one that would lead Samantha Smith to become a symbol of hope, diplomacy, and the enduring power of a child's innocence to inspire change on a global scale. Samantha's letter is as follows. Dear Mr. Andropov, my name is Samantha Smith. I am 10 years old. Congratulations on your new job. I have been worrying about Russia and the United States getting into a nuclear war. Are you going to vote to have a war or not? If you aren't, please tell me how you are going to help to not have a war. This question you do not have to answer, but I would like it if you would. Why do you want to conquer the world, or at least our country? God made the world for us to share and to take care of, not to fight over or have one group of people own it all. Please let's do what he wanted and have everybody be happy too. Samantha Smith. Her letter was published in the Soviet state-run newspaper called Pravda. Smith was happy to discover that her letter had been published. However, she had not received a reply. She then sent a letter to Soviet ambassador to the United States, Anatoly Dobrynin, asking if Andropov intended to respond. Remarkably, on April 26, 1983, she received a response from Andropov. He writes, Dear Samantha, I received your letter, which is like many others that have reached me recently from your country and from other countries around the world. It seems to me, I can tell by your letter, that you are a courageous and honest girl, resembling Becky, the friend of Tom Sawyer in the famous book of your compatriot, Mark Twain. This book is well known and loved in our country by all boys and girls. You write that you are anxious about whether there will be a nuclear war between our two countries, and you ask, are we doing anything so that war will not break out? Your question is the most important of those that every thinking man can pose. I will reply to you seriously and honestly. Yes, Samantha, we in the Soviet Union are trying to do everything so that there will not be war on Earth. This is what every Soviet man wants. This is what the great founder of our state, Vladimir Lenin, taught us. Soviet people will know what a terrible thing war is. 42 years ago, Nazi Germany, which strove for supremacy over the whole world, attacked our country, burned and destroyed many thousands of our towns and villages, killed millions of Soviet men, women, and children. In that war, which ended with our victory, we were in alliance with the United States. Together, we fought for the liberation of many people from the Nazi invaders. I hope that you know about this from your history lessons in school. And today we want very much to live in peace, to trade and cooperate with all our neighbors on this earth, with those far away and those nearby, and certainly with such a great country as the United States of America. In America and in our country, there are nuclear weapons, terrible weapons that can kill millions of people in an instant, but we do not want them to be ever used. That's precisely why the Soviet Union solemnly declared throughout the entire world that never will it use nuclear weapons first against any country. In general, we propose to discontinue further production of them and to proceed to the abolition of all the stockpiles on Earth. It seems to me that this is a sufficient answer to your second question. Why do you want to wage war against the whole world, or at least the United States? We want nothing of the kind. No one in our country, neither workers, peasants, writers, nor doctors, neither grown-ups nor children, nor members of the government, want either a big or little war. We want peace. There is something that we are occupied with: growing wheat, building and inventing, writing books and flying into space. We want peace for ourselves and for all peoples of the planet, for our children, and for you, Samantha. I invite you, if your parents will let you, to come to our country, the best time being this summer. You will find out about our country, meet with your contemporaries, visit an international children's camp, and see for yourself if the Soviet Union, everyone is for peace and friendship among peoples. Thank you for your letter. I wish you all the best in your young life. Y. Andropov. Following Samantha's bold inquiry and the publication of her heartfelt letter to Yuri Andropov, a media frenzy of epic proportions erupted. The spotlight swung her way, and she found herself in the midst of a whirlwind of interviews and media attention. The venerable Ted Koppel and the legendary Johnny Carson were among those eager to hear her story. Nightly reports by the major American networks kept the nation and the world riveted to the unfolding narrative. As the momentum grew, Samantha's extraordinary journey took a remarkable turn. On a pivotal day, July 7, 1983, Samantha, accompanied by her parents, embarked on a journey of a lifetime. They boarded a plane bound for Moscow, where Samantha would soon become a guest of none other than Yuri Andropov himself. For 2 weeks, the young American girl found herself in the heart of the Soviet Union, where the Iron Curtain seemed to part, if only briefly. During this extraordinary trip, Samantha's adventures knew no bounds. She explored the vibrant streets of Moscow and the enchanting beauty of Leningrad. Her journey led her to Artek, the crown jewel of Soviet pioneer camps, nestled in the picturesque town of Gurzov on the Crimean Peninsula. As she chronicled in her book, Samantha was deeply moved by the warmth and hospitality of the Soviet people. Their friendliness left an indelible mark on her and her parents, and they were touched by the heartfelt presence and gestures of goodwill from their hosts. This journey, which began with a simple question from a young girl, had evolved into a profound exchange of understanding and friendship between two nations, transcending political boundaries and demonstrating the potential of human connection to bridge divides. In the heart of Moscow, at a press conference that captivated the world's attention, Samantha delivered a profound message that resonates across borders. With conviction and innocence, she declared, quote, "The Russians, they're just like us," end quote. Her words transcended politics, offering a simple but powerful reminder of our shared humanity. While there, Samantha made a newfound friend named Natasha Kasharina from Leningrad, a fluent English speaker who bridged the gap between cultures. Samantha's journey was not just a testament to diplomacy, but also a celebration of the universal language of friendship. Samantha's homecoming on July 22, 1983, was nothing short of a hero's welcome. The people of Maine, her proud hometown, rolled out the proverbial red carpet, adorning her path with roses and treating her to the luxury of a limousine. Her arrival was a moment of jubilation, and her popularity soared to new heights. However, amidst the celebration, a shadow of skepticism lingered in some quarters. There were those who questioned the true nature of Samantha's journey, wondering if she unwittingly served as a pawn in the grand chessboard of Soviet propaganda. Such doubts tempered the euphoria surrounding her return. Undaunted by the challenges, Samantha continued her role as America's youngest ambassador. In December 1983, her adventures led her to the land of the rising sun, Japan. There, she engaged with the Prime Minister Yoshihiro Nakasone and participated in the Children's International Symposium. At this symposium, Samantha shared a profound idea. She proposed that leaders of the Soviet Union and the United States should exchange their granddaughters for 2 weeks every year. Her reasoning was as simple as it was powerful. Quote, "A president wouldn't want to send a bomb to a country his granddaughter would be visiting," end quote. Her words resonated deeply, and her suggestion sparked a wave of goodwill exchanges involving children from both sides of the Cold War divide. One such exchange saw 11-year-old Russian child Katya Licheva visiting the United States, fostering connections that transcended political boundaries. Samantha Smith's incredible journey, brimming with diplomacy, friendship, and cultural exchanges, eventually found its way onto the pages of her book, Journey to the Soviet Union. Its cover, adorned with her image at Artek, paid homage to the place she held closest to her heart. Her adventure was not merely a physical one, but a testament to the power of a young girl's quest for understanding and unity in a divided world. In 1984, she embraced her newfound status as a media celebrity with gusto. Under the title of Special Correspondent, she took center stage on the Disney Channel, hosting a captivating children's special titled Samantha Smith Goes to Washington, Campaign 84. In this exciting show, Samantha delved into the intricate world of politics, turning the spotlight on the 1984 Democratic Party presidential primaries. She embarked on a quest to understand the political landscape of the time, leaving no stone unturned. With her infectious curiosity, she interviewed prominent candidates, including the likes of George McGovern, John Glenn, and Jesse Jackson. Just as her star was rising, on a fateful day, August 25, 1985, Samantha and her father embarked on a journey homeward, their spirits undoubtedly buoyed by the adventures they had shared. They had just finished filming a segment for Lime Street, a television show that had taken them on a captivating ride. As their plane, a Beechcraft 99 commuter aircraft, made its approach to the Lewiston Auburn Regional Airport in Auburn, Maine, the world took an unforeseen turn. The aircraft, laden with hopes and dreams, encountered an unexpected and tragic fate. It struck a cluster of trees, a mere 4,007 feet or 1,221 meters short of the runway, and the ensuing crash claimed the lives of all 6 passengers and 2 crew members on board. The heartbreaking incident sent shockwaves through the hearts of many, and it became the subject of intense scrutiny. Speculation about the cause of the accident swirled, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. Samantha's remarkable journey, which had touched so many lives, met an untimely end in a tragic twist of fate. Rumors and suspicions swirled like a tempest within the borders of the Soviet Union. Accusations of foul play cast a dark shadow over the tragic event, leading to fervent discussions and speculation. In the United States, authorities responded swiftly by launching an investigation into the incident. When the official report emerged, it failed to substantiate the allegations of foul play. The findings were made public, revealing a grim reality. According to the report, the ill-fated plane had crashed approximately 1 mile southwest of the airport. The report painted a haunting picture of the final moments, stating that the relatively steep flight path angle and the altitude and the speed of the airplane at ground impact precluded the occupants from surviving the accident. Samantha Smith's tragic passing sent shockwaves across borders, prompting people from all walks of life to come together in grief. In Augusta, Maine, where her life had begun, approximately 1,000 mourners gathered to bid their final farewells at her funeral. The world watched, united in mourning for a young girl who had become a symbol of peace and understanding. Even in Moscow, Samantha's passing did not go unnoticed. She was eulogized as a champion of peace, with dignitaries like Robert Wagner and Vladimir Kulygin from the Soviet Embassy in Washington, D.C. in attendance. They read a poignant message of condolence from none other than Mikhail Gorbachev, acknowledging Samantha's extraordinary role in fostering harmony and goodwill between nations. Quote, "Everyone in the Soviet Union who has known Samantha Smith will forever remember the image of the American girl who, like millions of Soviet young men and women, dreamt about peace and about friendship between the peoples of the United States and the Soviet Union." End quote. President Ronald Reagan sent his condolences to Smith's mother in writing, quote, "Perhaps you can take some measure of comfort in the knowledge that millions of Americans, indeed millions of people, share the burdens of your grief. They also will cherish and remember Samantha, her smile, her idealism, and unaffected sweetness of spirit." End quote. Samantha's enduring contributions have not gone unnoticed, receiving heartfelt tributes from both Russians and the people of her beloved home state of Maine. These gestures serve as enduring testaments to her impact on hearts and minds across the globe. In Moscow, a striking monument stands tall in her honor, a symbol of the enduring friendship she helped to foster. Her legacy also finds resonance in the heart of Artek, where Samantha Smith Alley was christened in 1986, a testament to her indomitable spirit. However, history took an unfortunate turn when the original monument dedicated to Samantha was stolen by metal thieves in 2003 in the wake of the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. Undaunted by this loss, a retiree from Voronezh named Valentin Volin embarked on a mission of love and dedication. Through private donations, he raised the necessary funds to construct a new monument in Samantha's memory, ensuring that her legacy remained intact for generations to come. In another touching gesture, the Soviet Union paid homage to Samantha by issuing a commemorative stamp adorned with her likeness, a symbol of her impact on the world stage. Furthermore, Samantha's name found its place among the stars quite literally. In 1986, Russian astronomer Lyudmila Chernyky discovered an asteroid which she christened 3147 Samantha, an everlasting celestial tribute to a remarkable girl who reached for the stars in her quest for peace and understanding. In Samantha's cherished home state of Maine, a special day is set aside each year to honor her remarkable legacy. By official state law, the first Monday in June is declared Samantha Smith Day, a time for Mainers and the world to come together and remember her profound impact. A tribute to Samantha stands near the Maine State Museum in Augusta, where a bronze statue captures her essence. In this moving representation, Samantha is depicted releasing a dove into the sky with a bear cub nestled at her feet. The symbolism runs deep, as the bear cub represents not only her beloved Maine, but also the nation she had touched so profoundly, Russia. The reach of Samantha's influence extends far and wide, with elementary schools in Sammamish, Washington, and in Jamaica Queens, New York City, proudly bearing her name. These institutions serve as beacons of inspiration for generations of students, a living testament to her legacy. In October 1985, Samantha's mother embarked on a mission to carry forward her daughter's vision of peace and understanding. She founded the Samantha Smith Foundation, an organization that fostered student exchanges between the United States and the Soviet Union. This noble endeavor continued even after the dissolution of the Soviet Union in December of 1991, extending its reach to the ex-Soviet successor states. In 2003, questions about what Samantha might have become had she survived into adulthood swirled like autumn leaves in the wind. However, her mother Jane wisely deemed them unanswerable. Samantha had been a mere 13 years old when she left this world, and her dreams had danced across a wide spectrum of possibilities, from aspiring to be a veterinarian to envisioning herself as a graceful ballerina. Back in the vibrant 80s, some had dared to imagine a future where Samantha could have become the President of the United States. Yet Samantha herself had eloquently dismissed this notion during her time as the host of a Disney Channel special. With unwavering clarity, she shared her perspective, stating that, quote, "Being president is not a job I would like to have," end quote. Her words were a reflection of her wisdom beyond her years, a testament to the depth of her character and her unwavering commitment to a world of peace and understanding. If you would like to learn more about our youngest ambassador, I recommend the following books. Samantha Smith, The Girl Who Dreamed of Peace by Tracy Lynn Myers. Another book by Lena Nelson called America's Youngest Ambassador, The Cold War Story of Samantha Smith's Lasting Message of Peace. And the children's book choice is Samantha Smith, A Journey for Peace by Anne Galicich. Galicich. It's Galicich. Please grab a beverage of your choice and meet me at the coffee corner. Hey, everybody. I am so glad you listened to the episode today and stayed on to chat a little bit. It will be short today. My daughter just had a seizure and I need to tend to her. And I'm also speaking with family who are in Maine and still dealing with what's unfolding there. So I had a different hero heart story, but I'm actually going to mention this one today because it's just very relevant and comes from Lewiston. It says, thoughts and prayers are with my friends and family in Maine. My uncle was one of the victims working at Spare Time Bowling Alley in Lewiston. He was shot multiple times in his legs and is currently in surgery. Please pray for Thomas Gilberti, Giberti. And then it says, Tom had a successful surgery last night and is stabilized. He was shot in the left leg 4 times and once in the right leg while making sure 6 lanes of youth bowlers made it to safety out the back. He is a true hero. And there's pictures of Tom, and you can only imagine. There was a youth league going, also a birthday party, and this man put himself in harm's way to get the kids out the back. So he is our hero heart story today. Our quote of the day comes from Samantha Smith. She says, quote, "Well, I just hope we can have peace, and I hope it'll do some good," end quote. She said this in 1982, 41 years ago, and here we are again on the brink of war. We need to do better. In these times of uncertainty and immense stress, it's important that we support one another. If you are not in crisis but need support, please feel free to email me at mindsetmatterspodcast1@gmail.com. If you would like to support listeners with something positive, please go to the website mindsetmatterspodcast1.com. Click on the microphone and leave a voice message that will encourage other listeners. You can say what's on your heart and mind or answer the prompt, what gives you hope? Coming up, we have an episode on nurses and then an episode on Project Solomon, the therapeutic horse. I hope to see you then. Thank you for giving your time to listen to this episode of Mindset Matters, The Courage to Continue. You are of value. You are loved. You are not alone. If you are struggling with thoughts of suicide, help is available. Dial 988 24 hours a day for free confidential support. If you are not in crisis but need support, please feel free to reach out to me at the email mindsetmatterspodcast1@gmail.com. Again, that's all lowercase, mindsetmatterspodcast1@gmail.com. Remember to change your day by what you think and say. We'll see you next time.